The Terran colony of New Haven had been humanity's pride, a verdant world on the edge of explored space, home to 3 million souls who had dared to dream beyond Earth's crowded skies. When the Zalkari Dominion's fleet arrived, they gave no warning, no ultimatum, no chance for surrender. Within 6 hours, New Haven burned. Every city, every settlement, every farm reduced to radioactive ash. Angel Chen stood on the bridge of the TFS Retribution, her dark eyes fixed on the holographic display, showing the assembled might of humanity's response. She was young for a fleet admiral, barely 32, but the war had aged them all. Her black hair, pulled back in a severe bun, revealed the burn scar that traced from her left temple to her jaw, a souvenir from the evacuation of New Haven. She had been one of the lucky few. 500,000 warships, James Rodriguez whispered beside her, his voice filled with awe. As her chief tactical officer, James had spent the last 18 months coordinating this impossible gathering. Every human nation, corporation, and independent colony had contributed. Ships that had been museum pieces were retrofitted. Orbital shipyards worked around the clock. Humanity had bled itself nearly dry to forge this armada. The Zalkari didn't understand humans. They couldn't fathom why the loss of one colony would provoke such a response. To them, conquest was business. Cold, calculated, efficient. They had burned hundreds of worlds across the galaxy, and the other species had sued for peace, paid tribute, or simply died quietly. But humans were different. Fleet status? Angel's voice cut through the bridge's tense silence. All 500,000 ships report ready, Admiral, James replied, his fingers dancing across his console. Strike groups Alpha through Zeta are in position. Vanguard fleet has forward scouts confirming Zalkari homeworld defenses. Angel allowed herself a cold smile. The Zalkari homeworld, Zalkara Prime, defended by a mere 50,000 vessels. They had grown complacent, arrogant. After all, no species had ever dared to strike at the heart of the Dominion. They destroyed New Haven because they thought we were weak, Angel said quietly. They saw our colony ships, our merchant vessels, our slow expansion, and they mistook caution for cowardice. James nodded, remembering the intelligence reports. The Zalkari had calculated that destroying one colony would force humanity to submit, to accept their place as vassals to the Dominion. They hadn't anticipated that humans could even muster 10,000 warships, let alone 500,000. Communications. Open a channel to the fleet, Angel commanded. Across the massive armada, from dreadnoughts the size of small moons to nimble, fighter carriers bristling with humanity's deadliest pilots. Crews fell silent as their admiral's face appeared on every screen. People of Earth and her colonies, Angel began, her scarred face resolute. 18 months ago, the Zalkari Dominion taught us a lesson. They showed us what happens when we venture too far, too fast, without the strength to defend what we build. 3 million of our brothers and sisters learned that lesson with their lives. She paused, letting the weight of those words settle. Today, we teach them our lesson. We show them what happens when you awaken humanity's wrath. We show them that we do not forgive, we do not forget, and we do not surrender. James watched the tactical display as the fleet began its final approach. 500,000 ships moving in perfect coordination, the result of countless simulations and drilling. Humanity had turned its entire industrial capacity toward this single goal. They'll detect us in 3 minutes, James reported. Let them, Angel replied. I want them to see what's coming. When the Zalkari sensors finally registered the human fleet's approach, their response was exactly what Angel had predicted. Confusion, then disbelief, then panic. Their defensive formations scrambled, but they had no doctrine for facing an enemy that outnumbered them 10-1. Forward elements are engaging, James announced as the first wave of human ships crossed into weapons range. Particle beams and kinetic projectiles lit up the void. Zalkari shields flared and died under the concentrated bombardment. The battle for Zalkara Prime lasted 6 hours, the same amount of time it had taken to destroy New Haven. Angel stood rigid as the reports flooded in. Humanity's losses were staggering. Over 70,000 ships destroyed, millions of crew dead, but the Zalkari fleet ceased to exist. Their orbital defenses were rubble, Their shipyards were burning wrecks. "Admiral," James said softly, his hand hovering over the final command interface. "The planet is defenseless. We have them." Angel stared at the blue-green world on the display. Zalkara Prime, home to 8 billion Zalkari. She thought of New Haven's 3 million dead. She thought of the children who would never grow up, the dreams that died in nuclear fire. "Open a channel to Zalkara Prime," she ordered. The Dominions' remaining leadership appeared on screen, their insectoid features twisted in what humanity's xenolinguists had identified as fear. "You destroyed our colony because you believed we were weak," Angel said, her voice cold as the void. "You were wrong. But we are not you. We do not burn worlds without reason. We came here to show you the cost of your mistake, to ensure that no species will ever again doubt humanity's resolve." She leaned forward, her scarred face filling their screens. "Tell every empire, every dominion, every collective in this galaxy, humanity protects its own. And if you harm us, we will bring 500,000 reasons for you to regret it." James entered the final command. The human fleet began its withdrawal, leaving Zalkara Prime intact but broken, their military shattered, their arrogance destroyed. As the Retribution jumped to hyperspace, Angel finally allowed herself to feel the weight of what they'd done. New Haven was still gone. 3 million humans were still dead. But the galaxy would remember. Humanity had announced itself not as prey, but as a predator that protected its pack with overwhelming force. James approached quietly. "Do you think they'll leave us alone now?" Angel looked at the retreating stars. "They'll do more than that. They'll warn others. And maybe, just maybe, New Haven's sacrifice will be the last colony we ever lose." The fleet jumped toward home, carrying with them a new reputation. Humanity was not to be trifled with. The age of human expansion would continue, but now the galaxy knew the price of threatening Earth's children. 500,000 warships strong, humanity had spoken, and the galaxy had listened.